Friday, August 14th. I'm Jeremy Wolf. Why am I not? It's so early. I'm Jeremy Wolf, founder of Open Athletes, former MLB draft pick, former Olympic qualifier, and your host for Open Athletes. Today, we are gonna talk about all the money moving around in sports. The president's own media company just quietly killed its plan to build a betting app and prediction market platform, and a federal regulator told the whole prediction market crowd to knock it off, silly billies. A firm that tried to buy Everton just filed for bankruptcy with billions in debt. 2 college hoopers nobody drafted are outselling real consumer brands. Disney just paid to sponsor a podcast instead of a soccer team, and FedEx might be walking away from golf. The FedEx Cup, the most entertaining tournament in all of golf, kind of. We will see. Everybody in today's news is either a seller or distributor, and I'll show you which one pays the most. But first, today, on August 14th, our quick hits. Sportsbooks versus prediction markets. DraftKings and FanDuel spent the week insisting prediction markets have barely touched their sportsbooks, even as both stocks have faded over the past year. When a company keeps telling you it's fine, ask yourself, why is it telling you it's fine? ESPN grabs the dance league. We talked about this earlier on our show, early the week prior. How many weeks have we done this now? Every day blends together. ESPN picked up the global rights to International Dance League, airing bi-weekly on ESPN 2. Every second of programming is a way to pull in a new audience. Very, very niche. We know this. However, not the worst thing in the world. There's much bigger news happening in sports. Ferran Torres to PSG for 50 million euros. Ferran Torres is reportedly headed to PSG in roughly 50 million move. Barcelona books 35 million in accounting profit. The transfer is the headline, but Barcelona actually sort of recuperating some of the losses they've had over the last couple of years is the truth here. I'm a big Barcelona fan, so sucks to see him move. And we wish him luck. Friend of the show, Ferran Torres. Friend of the show, Barcelona. Hyundai swaps in at the Champions League. Hyundai is replacing Just Eat as UEFA Champions League sponsor and signing on for the new cycle for 2027-2028. Sponsored slots never go empty. Be next in line. The Los Angeles Lakers, your Los Angeles Lakers, who just sold for $12 bajillion to the guy who ran Disney and the brother to the son-in-law of the President of the United States. As I bring my stuff back, the Los Angeles Lakers' new jersey patch. This week, the Lakers named the fintech app Albert their new jersey patch. You have a jersey patch too. Your chest, your feed, your face, and your camera. What's it renting for you, athletes? What are you doing, entrepreneur in sport? Can you get in front of new people? I had never heard of Albert before this morning. I still don't know what Albert is. I bet you their logo is Albert Einstein. Or Albert Pujols. I have no idea. But now they're the jersey patch sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers. So cool for them, I guess. But know your worth, ultimately. Maybe there's some money that's going to come in, like some reporting that's going to come in about the total amount that I am not seeing. But, anything's better than like a crypto.com sort of thing. This show presented by Athletes Fund. Athletes Fund, the venture fund backing current former professional athletes building something in sports. Check them out at athletes.fund. Our first big story. Trump media kills its plans for the prediction market it was planning on building. CFTC also warns the field of prediction market apps. We have to talk about it because it's everything that's happening in sports right now. We've talked about Genius IQ this week and the money that's going into the data layer underneath sports and also the sports betting apps. We have to talk about the money moving in. Last October, the president's media company said it would build a prediction market platform right into Truth Social. This week, per an SEC filing, that plan is gone. The Crypto.com partnership will no longer include building their own platform. They'll just market Crypto.com's existing product to Truth Social users. Same day, the CFTC sold the whole industry. Stop dressing your event contracts up to look like sportsbook odds. Very interesting. Per Front Office Sports, Trump Media's Crypto.com partnership will no longer include developing a prediction market platform integrated into Truth Social, per an SEC filing. Instead, per the filing, they'll market Crypto.com's platform to Truth Social users. CFTC warned platforms not to be misleading to their consumers, showing prices like casino gambling bookmakers, risks violating federal law CFTC PR 927826 from August 13th. Per Front Office Sports, DraftKings and FanDuel say prediction markets have had little impact even as both stocks faded. When the loudest, most promotional player in the space quietly backs out of building its own, settles for reselling someone else's, that's information. My view, they looked at the cost and the legal heat and decided the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. When all of the news that we've been hearing is that the juice was worth the squeeze. That's not me saying it is a scam in any way. It is part of the business. It's something that is considered to be not totally set in stone about what these things currently are. But reading the facts, they said they'd build it. And then the filing says they won't. Trump Media just decided to not own the machine. They'd rather rent the access out to their audience through Crypto.com's. That's a distribution play. We talk about it all the time. And you know where I stand. Gambling, bad. Gambling, likey. Gambling, I think it takes away from the beauty and the joy of sport. I would like to see less of it in sport. Obviously, it's growing more and more and more and more and more. And so not creating another avenue to have this is a win in my book. Is the prediction market bubble leaking? No, we'll see as revenue continues to come in for it. Reports still keep coming in for it. Or is it bad for Trump Media? Is it just Trump Media being Trump Media, saying they were going to do something, not actually following through it? That's not me to decide. I am just reporting the facts. But I do stand on a firm side of what gambling does to individuals, families, people who are building in sport, who are doing things in sport, who are I'm having a hard time articulating it only because I feel so strongly about it that I don't want to use strong language towards it. But I feel strongly about the fact that I would like to see this stuff outside of sports or separate from sports and not totally integrated, not having sports books in arenas or sponsorships on jerseys or whatever it is. Because as a kid, you think it's cool. And as an athlete, you get tempted. And as just a casual viewer, it takes away from the beauty of sport. That's my opinion. Maybe the chat or the social medias has a different take. That's okay. That's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Our next conversation. 777 collapses into Chapter 11 bankruptcy with $2.7 billion in debt. 777 files for Chapter 11. 777 Partners, the Miami firm that owned pieces of soccer clubs worldwide and once tried to buy Everton, just filed for Chapter 11, and the numbers are not small. Per Bloomberg and Law 360, 777 Partners filed for Chapter 11 in Texas in early August, disclosing at least $2.7 billion in funded debt. 23 affiliated cases were ordered jointly administered on August 10th per Front Office Sports. Co-founder Josh Wander was indicted last October and is awaiting trial in the Southern District of New York. Prosecutors allege a scheme to defraud lenders, investors, and of more than $500 million. 777's 2023 attempt to take over Everton ultimately failed. Careful. Be careful. I'm not telling you 777 committed a fraud. Prosecutors allege that, and the co-founder is awaiting trial. This is all alleged. What's not in dispute is they filed for bankruptcy, and the filings list billions in debt. 777 is what happens when you buy distribution you can't pay for. You're trying to cash checks you can't cash because you don't have the money. An empire built on borrowed money isn't ownership. It's a lease with your name on it. Hopefully athletes didn't get hurt. Put them in the cellar bucket, the athlete version, one good contract, then the restaurant, the dealership, the 4 rentals, all on leverage, all at once. Own what you can carry. An empire you borrowed to build isn't ownership. It's a lease until the payment's late. Is PE, is private equity, buying up soccer clubs good for the sport or a house of cards? No. I mean, it's good for the owners. Is it good for the teams? When private equity moves into sports, we've talked about it a lot. They're moving into LSU. They're moving into Utah, Michigan State. They're moving into own sports franchises around the world. Is it good when private equity firms with money you don't know, with owners you don't know, with incentives you don't know, are buying sports teams? Like, what's the point of being a fan when there's a different incentive for the owners of these sports teams? Now, they want to make money, but you can make money by cutting the roster. You can make money by not winning. Making money by winning is more profitable. But is it a long-term strategy for these PE firms moving in? Because they're seeing the valuation of these businesses increasing ever more over time forever, which is what all of the numbers show. So is PE moving into sport a bad thing? Well, there's so much money in sport that is being a fan still the same thing? Being a fan? Is being a Chelsea fan still like as authentically pure as it used to be in the 90s? No, of course not, because they hate their owner. And they want to win. And when owners bring in private actors and private equity to bring more money into the club, does it always result in winning? Or does it result in the fact that they can make more money and they're going to make more money and they're going to try to make more money? And that's the give and take of sports nowadays. It's the pureness of the sport, if there's any left anywhere, and the business side of the sport. And our show tries to stick as close as we can to being arbitrary about both sides, about looking at both sides of it. But, you know, it's not as clear cut as it used to be. It's not just, not everything is going to be the Green Bay Packers, and we have to acknowledge that. Even then, you know, that's the best example I could come up with at the time. But is the money movement in sport really benefiting the people who are the fans of sport, the patrons of the sport? This show presented by, who is it presented by right now? This show presented by, oh my gosh, MindReady. Wow, amazing. MindReady, sports psychology, coaching, and education for athletes.
Home run.
Yay! Mental health is part of the game. Your organization, your team, your coaches, your athletes should have all of the tools at their disposal to be the best that they possibly can be in the thing that they are doing, which is performing on and off the field. MindReady, mindready.co. Okay. The Cavinder twins. I didn't know about them until last night, this morning. Cavinder twins, from NIL influencers to founders. Haley and Hannah Cavinder became NIL pioneers, and instead of cashing checks till the attention faded, they used the deals as a classroom, and now they're founders. Per Forbes, Christy Dosh, from August 12th, the twins launched a wellness brand, Go2, in its first few days. It outperformed its operating partner's best ever launch by It outperformed best operating launch by 7 times with discounts. Per Forbes, Go-To sells debloat and sleep supplements, expanding into protein, creatine, electrolytes. Per Forbes, they also co-founded tequila brand Azucar and treated NIL deals as seed capital and market research. Per Forbes, the roadmap: build an audience, take equity, not just cash, learn operations from your partners, then own the entire thing. Good on them. This is what we want to teach everybody at Open Athletes. I've been screaming about this since day one. Build an audience, take a piece, not just a payment, learn the operations while somebody else pays for your education. Then own it. They didn't wait to be LeBron. Maybe they were never going to be LeBron. They used the distribution they already had in the window that they were provided. And it hurts me. I was a 31st round pick, too scared to be on camera, sat on my window, did nothing. They're all in. Athletes now have more opportunities to make money, certainly more so than I did 10 years ago. They decided to do the thing that all athletes should consider doing. Instead of just renting out your audience, your distribution, your brand, your likeness, whatever, they did it for a particular reason, to understand the markets, to use it as market research, to then build a brand, to own the things that they can own. Good for them. I would love to have them on to talk about it. Let's read more. Cavinder twins on building their empire. Hannah and Haley Cavinder joined Pillow Rossi, front office sources to discuss launching wellness brand Go-To and tequila brand Azucar, how NIL sparked their shift from athletes to co-founders.
From college basketball stars to NIL pioneers to entrepreneurs, the Cavinder twins have turned their personal brand into a business empire. Haley and Hannah, thank you so much for joining Front Office Sports.
Thanks for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So let's start with the present. You have 2 new products launching simultaneously, Go-To and Azucar. For those who are not familiar, can you kind of give us a brief overview of what each brand is and kind of what was the inspiration behind them?
I would say for Go-To, it's not just 2 products, it's a wellness platform that Hannah and I have been building meticulously for the year and a half. And I just think that we loved health and fitness, and being able to create something from day one from just our mindsets and turn it into a business post NIL has been a huge passion of ours. And I think we learned at a very young age, we've always wanted to own a business one day, and for it to come to fruition is just so amazing, and we're so excited about the potential and vision we have for this brand.
For Azucar, yeah, we are going to be co-founders of that and just using our marketability to be able to branch out into the tequila space. We are both tequila girlies, so having those go hand on hand is going to be super exciting.
I'm also a tequila girly, so I'm excited. Haley, you kind of touched on this, but you guys were among the earliest athletes to really capitalize on NIL.
This is the blueprint for everything that we've ever talked about. I might just show this every single show. Just listen to this.
Do you think that NIL helped spark this entrepreneurial spirit?
Absolutely. I think that early on, we would go to our agents, as anyone would, and just ask about, what amount of income is this partnership and who we're representing or how many deliverables per post. And within years of name, image, and likeness and going to school and kind of learning firsthand, we kind of had a passion for business and kind of outside of our sport wanted to focus on that as soon as our college career wrapped up, and being able to just understand what name, image, and likeness can do if you do it the right way and how you can optimize on into it to your next phase of your life is something that me and Hannah learned early on we really wanted to do.
I think it's helped tremendously. I think you're sharing and talking and hearing the voice of your audience every single day. You know what they're looking for.
I will leave a link to this in the newsletter. Subscribe to the newsletter, openathletes.substack.com. This is the blueprint for everything that I am trying to teach with Open Athletes, what our athletes should do to participate in the marketplace and the things that they want to do. It doesn't have to be tequila. If you're a baseball player and you get a little bit of NIL or you have an opportunity to do whatever, what is it that you can create. It doesn't have to be tequila or that supplement brand, but they have the ability to build something, and they are taking full advantage of it and just being very smart and diligent about the things that they are doing. Good on them. Amazing. I would love to have them on. Future friends of the show. Disney Plus buys Gary Neville's Overlap network. What? Who's Disney Plus? Obviously, Disney Plus. Who's Gary Neville? Former Premier League football player, England star, has lots of media ventures as part of Sky Sports, does games during the Premier League, announces, I don't know, Saturday, whatever, and also has his Overlap network, which has a bunch of podcasts on it because he gets stars on it. People are interested in him, the thing he has to say, his expertise. And Disney Plus grabs Neville's Overlap for 1 year. Disney Plus signed a 1-year deal to be the headline sponsor of the Overlap, Gary Neville's football media company. Stick to Football, plus a new show, Stick to United, with Wayne Rooney. Per Disney's UK press office and Deadline, Disney Plus is headline sponsor of Stick to Football and the new Stick to United with Wayne Rooney podcast. Stick to Football returns with 40 new episodes, 20 exclusive, plus 6 international episodes next year. Stick to United runs 50 episodes throughout the year. Per Inside World Football, it's a 1-year deal. Deadline frames it as Disney striking back at Netflix's football podcast push. Disney Plus, we're available. Come call us. Per Broadband TV News, Disney gets Manchester United's global audience without a deal with the club itself. Read that last line again. That's a note to all of us, but mostly to me. I will read that last line again. Disney gets Manchester United's global audience without a deal with the club itself. Gary Neville, Manchester United. Wayne Rooney, former Manchester United, has a podcast specifically about Manchester United, and Disney Plus is not sponsoring Manchester United for less money with the same audience. They are sponsoring Manchester United, or the podcast that covers Manchester United. Disney wanted the United audience. They didn't buy the club or the rights or the jersey sponsorship or work with them. They sponsored retired players who built their own show and network. Neville was a right back. He understood the value wasn't only his feet, but his voice and the audience that came with it. He built the distribution using the audience that he currently had, and now Disney pays him for access to that audience. Neville is the distributor. Neville is the distributor. The club is almost a bystander in its own audience's attention. This is what I'm trying to do from zero every single morning with you, our amazing, wonderful audience. Disney didn't buy the club or access using the club. It bought the guys who own the audience to that same audience, the same path to that audience. My question: which retired athlete has the most under-monetized audience, and what show should they build tomorrow? LeBron has the underrated, the undefeated, and then the boardroom. He used to have the boardroom show on HBO, whatever. Which retired athlete has the most under-monetized audience? Me, obviously. Who would you want to see? Who would you like to see? Who would be the best? Best energy? Who should have a show? What would they talk about? Who would be most entertaining? I mean, this is huge news. Disney Plus is buying into, something incredibly valuable, which is an audience directly to Manchester United and also world football. I mean, it's one of the, if not the biggest football podcast in the world. Disney Inc.'s exclusive sponsorship deal with the Overlap for multiple award-winning shows, Stick to Football. A new original format, Stick to United. What is that total amount of money? Stick to Football, hosted by Gary Neville, Jamie Carragher, Jill Scott, Ian Wright, and Roy Keane, features an incredible lineup of special guests during discussing all things football. Stick to Football is Stick to United with Wayne Rooney, a brand new show hosted by Wayne Rooney and Mark Goldbridge will analyze Manchester United's latest results and performances, providing fans and experts, and they will simulcast it on ESPN or Disney Plus. Maybe just some stuff on ESPN. I don't know. They own each other. How much? For how much? Disney Plus is a growing slate of companion podcasts tied to the popular series on the platform, including the recent return of Rivals, the official podcast hosted by Pandora Sykes, and delving deep into each episode with behind-the-scenes stories. Other companion podcasts on offer include Paradise, Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Tell Me Lies, the FX story of John F. Kennedy Jr. and Caroline Bessette. Okay, they're doing this. It's not their first one. They've done it before. They're happy. Everyone's happy because everyone gets to partner together. Disney Plus is still $6.99 a month. They make more money when you're on the free tier because they make more money on ads than they do with the subscriptions. That's my script. But who would you like to see instead? Or next? We'll say next. What athletes were you're like, wow, I would really love to hear them tell their story every single day? I can't think about that. You can think about it. Let me know. Maybe we can have them on the show. Maybe we can convince them to do a podcast. I like when people are like guests on podcasts better than hosting their own show. But that's just me. There's more value on that. They can go place to place to place to place. But I want to hear like behind the scenes stories. I think Rio Ferdinand, if we're talking football, Rio Ferdinand his podcast is fantastic, and I see that clipped everywhere every single time I'm on social media, which I'm not a lot. I have like social media'd myself. Maybe that's why some people are like, you're like 2 days behind everything. Yeah. I am. Audit. Presented by Audit. Open Athletes is presented by Audit. Creative studio for brand, space, image, experience for the first 5 clients that we have. What? 1 month? What? First month is $1. That is simple productized studio, one project at a time with our full studio attention. Audit. Hello, Audit. AUUDIT.jeremywolf.co. That's me. Yes, I would love to work with you. I love to work with your brand. I love doing that. That's like my favorite thing in the whole world. It's talking about strategy, building things. I love it. Fenway bets on women's TGL golf, the WTGL land grab. Fenway joins Tiger and Rory's women's TGL. Fenway Sports Group, owners of Red Sox and Liverpool, agreed to buy a team in the women's version of TGL, the Indoor Tech Golf League Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy started. Per Front Office Sports, FSG agreed to buy WTGL team Boston Common Golf, competing in the women's TGL debut season this winter. Per Front Office Sports, FSG was one of 6 original TGL ownership groups. TGL is owned by Tomorrow Sports, co-founded by Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. Per Front Office Sports, other WTGL owners include Steve Cohen, owner of the Mets, Arthur Blank, owner of the Falcons, Alexis Ohanian, founder of Reddit, husband to Serena Williams. He does a lot in women's sports, invests a lot in women's sports. He owns 776 Ventures. I would love to have him on. Per Front Office Sports, the Women's League launches this winter. Those owners lists some of the sharpest capital allocators in sports lining up for a women's league that hasn't played a snap yet, hasn't hit a putt yet, hasn't played a match yet. Smart money buys the seat before the league is famous because it's cheap before it's famous. They're distributors accumulating inventory at the moment it costs the least. The lesson isn't buy a golf team. The lesson is look at where the money is moving. The direction, the next wave is women's leagues and new formats, and the ground floor is open for the price of just paying attention. Our money line on this, the seat is cheap before the league is famous. Buy the seat, not the highlight. Rich guys investing in things does not always mean that that is where you should put your money. It's rich guys owning things because maybe they want to see it succeed. They're not going to put money on something that they're absolutely going to waste. So maybe it'll make some money, or it'll be worth more over 10, 15, 20 years. They're investing in it on the ground floor. It's never going to be cheaper than it is now, unless the entire league or the entire system folds, of course. But when you look at the names who invested, it's Tiger's worth $1 billion. Rory's worth like $500 million. Steve Cohen is worth multiple billions of dollars. Alexis Ohanian's worth $500 million. I mean, these guys are not, it's not just like venture capital firms, or PE's not moving into it, or it's not just like new money or any of these things. It's just, in a way, I would say, to stay in the room, you got to spend a little money to stay in the room. I mean, show me how popular this women's TGL is going to be. Show me how popular the TGL currently is. Is this something people want to do? Is it going to make money on tickets and revenue and advertising? And is there movement with the TGL? I don't think there is. I don't see any movement with the TGL. I don't see them trying to get younger audience. I don't see them making a push. I just see it as just another gimmicky thing. But prove me wrong. Where is the money going? How much money are they making? This would have been perfect for COVID, but we're past COVID. Is it just going to be off-season golf so that we can still see what Ricky Fowler's up to? So yeah, billionaires are moving into the WTGL, but does that mean that it's going to absolutely skyrocket and grow overnight? Is golf in a position to do that? Amazing. Money moving into women's sports is always like an amazing thing. It's an amazing step forward. And the more opportunities there are for women to participate in like professional sports, the better. Yes. But show me the movement of this money over the next 5-10 years, and show me the success of the TGL, because I'm just not convinced that the TGL is there. And I'd love to be proved wrong. I'd love to have conversations with the TGL. That's what this is for. It's about having a dialogue about where the money is moving in sports and the value that we have. And I get to share my opinion with you. And my opinion is, I think they could do a better job. I think it could be more entertaining. I would love just to have better coverage of it. I'm sorry. I don't think the guys are conversing enough. I think the teams that they have are guys that are a little too shy. I think the game is, in matches that I've watched, I just don't think it's completely entertaining. It's not something I'm going to tune into. It's something I would go to if I lived in Miami, and I think there's only one, or Boca Raton, or wherever this thing is, if there's going to be more, if they can tour it. I just think it's landlocked. However, I want the women who are participating in this to benefit from the fact that they're in it. And I'm glad that they will. And I'm glad that there's going to be a women's league. Of course, absolutely. And I will support it as much as I possibly can. And I would love to be part of maybe Athletes Fund can participate, or Open Athletes can participate. However, give me more entertainment value for my 2 hours I'm spending watching the TGL. It's not enough right now. It's just not enough. The announcers are fine. I want more from the athletes. And I get that they're talking to each other and their strategy or whatever, but I want them to take it seriously. And they do. They wouldn't be there if they don't. When you're competing in front of people, you lock in. I know what that feeling is like. But it's just not there yet. And if I'm wrong, let me know how I'm wrong. Tell me what you think. Do you watch the TGL? Do you tune into the TGL? Is this in December or whenever the matches are? Are you like, yeah, I'd love to see what Rory's up to. I'd love to watch Matt Fitzpatrick. I'd love to watch Ricky Fowler. I just want to see it be a little bit more entertaining, because right now it feels like the Pro Bowl flag football game, and I just want it to be a little bit more legit. But always invest in women's sports, because women's sports is on the come up, and now is the time to buy in because it's only growing. As we stick to golf, the FedEx Cup playoffs are starting. It's August. And the future of the FedEx PGA Tour deal is suddenly an open question, right as the tour plans to revamp its whole competitive model in 2028. Why? Because Live was going to fold, right? But it's not. Is it? Are they going to merge? Who's the unnamed investor that Live is touting? How much money are they purchasing it for? Is it getting acquired? What's the deal? What's the deal, Jeremy? I don't know. All I know is the PGA Tour is revamping, thanks to Tiger Woods and the things that he wants to do, by creating a top 70, by bringing in more money, by making it more exciting, by making it more entertaining, by making the guys be able to commit to more events. Maybe I will watch the 3M Open because more guys are going to be in it. The future of the FedEx's PGA Tour sponsorship is in question as the playoffs begin. The tour is revamping its competitive model in 2028. The context is FedEx has been the season-long playoffs title sponsor since 2007. I don't know how the playoffs work. You get points. You get the cuppy thing, and you see where they are, and then top 70, and then top 50, and then top 30, and then like top 15, and it's like super entertaining as things come down. However, there are PGA tournaments after the FedEx Cup is over. So you get like $20 million for winning, obviously. Rory's won a couple of times. Scotty's won. This FedEx Cup sponsor is one of the longest running in sports. 18 years, and now the whole thing is up in the air. When you're the sponsor, you're renting someone else's audience. As we know, the second the terms change or bigger checkbook shows up, your 18-year relationship is a line item under review. The tour owns the distribution. They own the audience. FedEx rents it for however much they're paying per year for this sponsorship, and they've done so for the last 18 years. In any renegotiation, the owner of that audience wins. The owner of that audience has the leverage, presumably because maybe they can go get more money elsewhere by renaming it the Crypto.com Cup. Who knows? Know which side of the table you're on. If you're the billboard, you're FedEx. If you own the property, you're the tour. Sponsors are the renters. We talked about our founder twins, the Cavinder twins, earlier. At first they were being rented, and now they're the ones at the table making the decisions on where their money should go. The landlord keeps the house. Is an 18-year title deal loyalty or a tour that undersold its own value? Undersold. And now maybe the tour is looking for more of that money to regain or keep, or they're at the end of they're just renegotiating. That's what you do. You try to create leverage as much as you can. People take it too seriously. I mean, nobody really cares what the title is. I'm not going to FedEx because it's the FedEx Cup. So we're talking about billion-dollar organizations spending $10 million a year. I mean, these are like pennies. Like, sports marketing is pennies for these giant mega companies. So, like, this is just a nothing burger conversation. FedEx has pumped more than $1 billion of bonus money into the PGA Tour since launching the FedEx Cup into 2007. Well, $1 billion of bonus money. FedEx has pumped. That's a lot of money. They've made a lot of money. But, okay, that's a bigger number than I thought. PGA Tour events with purses at least $20 million. The Players' Championship, the 4 majors, and the new postseason 5 PGA Tour events have already been confirmed for the Championship Series. The PGA Tour is revamping its postseason 2028 when it launches a new 2-track model with top-tier Championship Series and the second-tier Challenger Series, while the PGA Tour said in a statement last week it believes that Memphis, where FedEx Cup is headquartered, is well-positioned to remain part of the PGA Tour. A pool of nearly $100 million in FedEx Cup bonus money this season will be paid out to the top 125 players in the FedEx Cup standings following next week's BMW Championship, before the eventual FedEx Cup champion wins $10 million from the tour. Championship's $40 million purse at the end of the month. Next season, potentially the final one of the FedEx Cup, all one word, I guess, is expected to play out in a similar fashion. All options are on the table with FedEx. PGA Tour Chief Commercial Officer Dhruv Prasad told Front Office Sports during the interview in late June. PGA Tour CEO Brian Rowlap earlier the month said FedEx's current contract would be honored, and the new competitive model is really designed to bring more value to our partners, and that our hope is to create more value for FedEx and everyone else. However, the contract is expiring. Many industry sources don't expect FedEx and PGA Tour to renew the company's sponsorship of the season-long points race after next season. Some sources predict PGA Tour will opt for a model akin to NASCAR's Cup Series, which in 2020 moved away from single naming rights sponsor in favor of multiple premium partners. It's unclear whether FedEx would be interested in signing up for that type of deal. All they're doing is negotiating. FedEx or another company would back a second-tier challenger event in Memphis in 2028 and beyond. The cost of sponsoring those events will be between $5 and $15 million. FedEx has doled out a lot of money. Have they received a return on that investment? We did talk about this a little bit yesterday, about the Lakers being flipped for $12 billion a year after they were acquired by somebody else. Absolutely wild. In terms of our FedEx conversation, is FedEx in a position to stay? How much money they would be willing to? What is that new sponsor going to be? Does it matter? Do sponsors matter? Does the money matter? Am I going to go to FedEx over UPS because they sponsor the FedEx Cup? They're just able to get in front of more people. And did they see a return on that $1 billion investment? I don't know. It's hard to say. But if you're with FedEx, come on the show and talk about it. Because we want to know, did you benefit from participating in the PGA Tour for that long? I don't know. Today's show presented by Erdos. Erdos! Is your implementation of AI stuck in a slide deck? Do you want to bring on people who can actually ship it and make it come to life? Erdos. Yes. ERDOS.SH. Erdos.sh. Humans helping your company be humans, deploying AI for humans. AI is not scary. AI can absolutely superpower the things that you are doing. I truly believe this. There are other ramifications of the AI conversation, but in terms of actually improving your output at work and the things that you are doing, implementing AI the correct way can maximize the output that you have. The input, Erdos. The output, more efficiency, and humans actually treating AI the way that it should be treated, as a tool to maximize your effectiveness. Okay. Today's take. We talked about owning your audience, owning your distribution, maximizing your leverage. This was the entire day of sports business today, is who's got an audience, where's the money moving? Every single day is a day of who's got an audience and where's the money moving. If Gary Neville didn't have an audience, Disney Plus would not have sponsored it and put it simulcast on all of Disney Plus's global app. Good for Gary Neville, the distribution that he's going to have, the partners that he's going to have on it, the other sponsors that brings in. Sellers, distributors. 777 partners borrowed billions to collect. Soccer clubs filed for bankruptcy this month with at least $2.7 billion in debt on the docket. Co-founder awaiting trial. He got in trouble. Don't do dumb things. Mark Walter bought the Lakers at a $10 billion valuation, flipped it 10 months later for $12.5 billion. FOS reports it's likely tied to a cash crunch amid a reported federal investigation. Okay, whatever. He still flipped the team for $2 billion more after 10 months. Because it's an asset that everybody wanted. Why not own the Lakers if you could? What's the sexiest team you could possibly own? Where do you buy something to be seen? In sports, Cowboys, Yankees, Red Sox, Lakers. Even at the very top, when pressure comes, the move is sell the asset. Sellers. We're talking about sellers. Well, okay, what about the buyers? Trump media said it would build its own prediction market. Then they're not. We'll resell somebody else's to our audience. When the build got hard or impossible, they became a middleman between the two. Now the distributors, the Cavinder twins, took the equity that they received, or the NIL money that they received, incubated it, learned the operation on someone else's dime, and built a brand that outsold its partner's best launch by 7 times. Gary Neville built his show on Disney Plus and now pays him to sponsor, reaching more fans that they wouldn't have had otherwise. The sharpest owners in all of sports and all of business are buying seats in the Women's Golf League. Is there something that we're not seeing as part of that? Women's Golf League hasn't even started yet. They're incubating it. They're getting it off the ground. But what is the leverage for them down the line? Sellers own things they can't carry and dump them under pressure. Don't hold for the long term. Distributors own an audience and turn it into everything else. One bucket is running from the margin call. The other is compounding. Counterpoint. It's easy for the Cavinders. They have millions of followers. You start off, you got nothing. But fair. But if you 1,000 people who really trust you isn't a small version of what Gary Neville's doing, it's the beginning of something. Hopefully, you see that I am authentically myself in the things that I am doing, the stories that I am telling about sports and business, the opportunity and the leverage that creating an audience like this can do for somebody who's in sports, who's a former athlete building something. And all the things I've built, I've started out with nothing. And I wish I had a jump start. And so Open Athletes is trying to create that jump start. What is the avenue to create that jump start? It's creating an audience. Because the audience, as we've seen, the Cavinder twins, the reason why they are able to sell and do as much is because they've generated an audience. Gary Neville has created an audience. Rory and Tiger were outside of the algorithm working within PGA Tour. They're creating audiences now for everybody else. Open Athletes can be a platform to build an audience and help distribute what others are doing. Access is inventory. The rooms were the asset. Don't spend your window selling. Don't trade your one finite run of attention and access to flat fees and free product. Use the window to build something you own, an audience, a piece of the company, a show, a room full of people who trust you. That's the only asset that pays you after the pads come off, after the cleats come off, after you leave the court. Sellers cash out once and distributors get paid forever. What bucket, athlete, are you going to be in? If you're a founder who's thinking about moving into sports or investing in NIL, or you're a parent, who are you going to trust with your brand? The likeness that you are giving, the money that you are providing that was really hard earned, how are you going to make sure that that athlete that you partner with does not hinder the trust that you have built so carefully? Instead of asking how much, ask for a piece. We've talked about this before. Equity, a revenue share, an intro, anything you own instead of just renting your time for money. You might get a no, but shoot your shot anyway. Shoot your shot anyway. And you never know. And the things that I've done, some have been successful, some have not been successful. I'm not saying that I'm never going to say, I know everything. But I've been around enough to know what's the right way to do things and what's the wrong way to do things. I've been around to know where are the trends, where's the money moving. I've done this for 2 weeks now, and I think it's one of the best decisions that I've ever had and I've ever made. Building an audience for fun because I want to help my friends have a leg up, the leg up that I never had, or the leg up that athletes have never had. It's really hard to build your own audience. What if you miss your window? We can help you catch up. And as we continue to bring on partners and do things inside of sport, the leverage is in collective action. The leverage is in building something together, a community that supports each other. And all of the stories that we've talked about today start with having the audience first. Everything that we mostly talk about is the conversation between selling and buying and distributing and investing and all of these different things that provide value to organizations in sport. And so our take today is basically, which one are you? Which one do you want to be? I want to be both. Open Athletes wants to be both. And I want to make sure the athletes that participate in the thing that we are doing are benefiting from a platform that we are given. And this platform wasn't going to be given to anybody. You have to make it yourself, however you need to. And the one thing that I know best is how to talk and how to make something as easy as possible. What's the quickest path between A and B? I know how to build that straight line. I know how to go from 0 to 1. Why we have mentors and Open Athletes is because I don't know how to go from 1 to 2. I'm not good at going from 1 to 2 because I've never had a mentor or anybody to teach me how to go from 1 to 2. But I'm really good at going from 2 to 100. It's that 1 to 2. It's like getting people in the room. How's Gary Neville doing that? He was a professional soccer player who built an audience. And now selling that audience to Disney Plus. Like, that's legitimizing the thing that he's done and the brand that he's built. Hopefully Open Athletes can be in a position in the next couple of years to have such a strong community, such a strong audience, that we are given those same opportunities. What brings me a lot of joy and fun is having these conversations every day with you. And that's what I'm chasing. I'm not chasing what can happen. Every single day I get to like come in and talk about sports, talk about business, because long term we're going to build an audience that trusts us. So when we have guests or when we have athletes in our cohort, we can share it with an audience that trusts them. And that sharing of trust is ultimately what's going to be successful for us long term. And we're at the very beginning, because this is week 2 of doing our live shows every day. And it's been a tremendous amount of fun. And I thank you. And I hope you've learned something today. I've learned something, that I'm having a lot of fun doing this, and I get to talk about sports every single day. Name a better job than that. So I appreciate you. I hope you have an excellent weekend. Today was Friday, August 14th. I'm Jeremy Wolf, former MLB draft pick, former Olympic qualifier, your host and founder of Open Athletes, and have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday.